Hey, so I made my last LinkedIn video post upside down on accident. But I left it because I thought, why not? And then I started thinking about project management and the words upside down. And I know it's a little bit of a gag, but I thought, there's actually something to this because I've seen project management go wrong so many times because it's being done upside down. What I mean by that is sometimes as project managers, we can start with the solution as opposed to starting with the problem. In our industry, in project management, we have assembled a vast array of solutions. We've assembled entire methodologies, complete tools, exhaustive processes, right? We've put all these things together to solve problems and we've made them widely available as a body of knowledge for each other to use when we're managing projects, which is great. But what can go wrong is when we become so enamored with or infatuated with and geeking out on the cool, like, oh, this story point thing is awesome, or we're gonna do, story point poker, or I love the idea of Wagile instead of just like waterfall plus agile, or whatever it is, whatever particular geek thing about project management, which I like totally love too. But we can start there and then apply those to our teams and create major problems. Why? Because we need to start with the real problems that any particular team is having, and then we need to choose a solution that actually fits that problem. So let me give you an example. Let's say your boss comes to you and says, all right, the last 3 projects that you've managed with this team have come in over budget and behind schedule. And the next project has got to come in on time and on budget, or we're going to have a more serious conversation. Okay, tough position to be in. Now, what do you do from there? Well, one solution would be, and I've seen this at more junior levels of project management, is they go, what? We're over budget and we're behind schedule yet again. These gosh darn developers or these creatives, man, can't stand working with these guys. It takes them ages, right? That's what we as project managers, we can immediately start blaming. Oh, it's everybody else's problem. Okay. And then what happens is it's really easy to jump from there to whatever solution we think. Okay, so you know what? And I've seen this. At the end of every week, I'm gonna talk to each developer or each creative, and if they've exceeded the estimate they put on any particular task, then I'm gonna have them explain why, and we're gonna create some real accountability around here. There's a new sheriff in town, look at my badge, right? And problem is, that's a disaster. Once you start implementing that, then the creatives hate you, the devs hate you, everybody thinks you're like a militant project manager, and the project doesn't get on time anyway because there's no trust between you and the team, and it totally fails. Okay, so don't do it that way. So how can you do it? One thing I would just suggest is a right side up project management is really identify the problem first. So if you look at the problem, you might realize, okay, so we're consistently coming in over budget and behind schedule. So what does that mean? Well, that means that our estimates are consistently wrong. Okay. And they're consistently wrong in one direction, which is they're more, our actuals are more than what we estimate we're going to actually spend on something before we do it. Okay. What if I took an average of over the last 3 projects? How much are we typically over? Okay, well, let's say it's 50%. Could be 75%. Doesn't really matter. Whatever the percentage is. Okay, so we're consistently over, let's say 50%, which is significant to be sure. But what if I reset expectations on my next project with my clients, with my boss, and with any other stakeholders that you reset expectations so that you're looking at about 65%. So, a developer gives you an estimate for 10 hours, then you tell the client, yeah, with our understanding of risk and past velocity, this is going to take about 16 and a half hours. And you start adding 65% based on the history of your projects. You start adding 65% to every ticket. And guess what will happen? If you've consistently delivered at less than 65% over, all of a sudden your project is going to be profitable and on time because you've reset expectations. Instead of taking a solution off the shelf, which is we'll just estimate every ticket before we begin and then hold everybody accountable, right? Instead of doing that, well, maybe we could just make more space for our awesome developers and our awesome creatives who are doing great work and not try and hold them to some standard of being able to estimate their time, which almost nobody can do very effectively at the beginning of a project anyways. So what if I, as a project manager, created space for them to succeed, reset expectations with my client and with my boss, and I started from the real problem here, and then I chose a solution, which would be, in this case, a risk buffer, that really made sense for the actual problem going on. And that's right side up project management. And that's, I'm going to make some more videos and I want to kind of take this approach where we don't start with the solution. We try and look behind the solutions as to why the solutions work. And we start with some real world problems and then figure out what are some great solutions that we can take off the shelf to meet those problems. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, I'd appreciate it if you share it and hit the little like button. And thanks a lot. See y'all later. Hopefully this one comes out right side up.